Lamar Jackson has an agent? He feels disrespected by the Baltimore Ravens? And no, the Ravens have not signed anyone yet in free agency. I got your Ravens news and rumors, and we're talking Lamar Jackson. Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you sports how you want it when you need it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell. Sound off in the comments. What's going on, Flex Zone family? God's favorite host back here on the Flex Zone Podcast. Only place giving you sports how you want it when you need it. Go ahead, sack that subscribe button. Go ahead, stick that like button, and go ahead and bulldoze that bell. Sound off in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on this whole Ravens Lamar Jackson situation as I kind of wrap up most of the news that we got this week with the Baltimore Ravens, especially about the star quarterback in Lamar Jackson. It was on Pro Football Talk. Mike Florio and the crew, they pretty much reported that the Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson has had a representative contact more than one team, so multiple teams, in an effort to spark negotiations at a possible offer sheet. And this representative is not certified by the National Football League Players Association. The person is painting this narrative and trying to paint it back in Jackson's court that he does not want a fully guaranteed contract, but Jackson wants a significant amount fully guaranteed, upwards of $200 million or more, with one more non-guaranteed year on the back end. So he wants at least, it looks like, multiple years of guaranteed money, 3 to 4 years, and a year non-guaranteed on the back end, so at least $200 million or more. I think personally Lamar Jackson wants more than Deshaun Watson got fully guaranteed. So you might give him a $250 million contract. He wants $231 million guaranteed, I think, to be the highest paid fully guaranteed wise. Last year, the NFL did instruct teams not to negotiate with representatives not certified by the NFLPA when St. Omni was allegedly using himself to contact teams on behalf of Bears linebacker, now Ravens linebacker, who did sign without an agent, Roquan Smith. Now, so far, Lamar's phone has been pretty quiet. It's basically been, this is all you heard on Lamar's phone from teams contacting him. It's been crickets. It's been crickets. It's been crickets. It's been dried in the Sahara because I think teams are a little afraid of that fully guaranteed amount of money for a guy who has missed 34% of games, and over the past 2 seasons, only 30 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. So these are things when you're a general manager, because you go to the owner and you're going out to get a fully guaranteed contract, and you got to think, outside of the Cleveland Browns, nobody else is doing fully guaranteed. So it's going to be a tough sell. And I know people are saying the Commanders, but I don't think coming in with a new ownership crew, the first thing you do after they approve you is go behind their backs and make them have to give guaranteed contracts because you're going to give one to a quarterback. So it's going to be tough. Now, do I think that it's egregious that no teams are contacting Lamar Jackson when he's a top 5, no worse than top 10 quarterback, depending on who you ask, former MVP, guy who is dynamic and can take the ball at any moment with his legs from one end of the field to the other, can throw enough. And yes, he needs to improve in certain areas. And yes, he needs weapons around him. But he should be a guy that a team like the Jets, a team like the Commanders, a team like possibly the Vegas Raiders should be looking into adding as their quarterback. Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, Indianapolis Colts. That is a team that has been linked to the Ravens as of late. I don't believe the Patriots BS, but the Colts with the 4th pick possibly. Or maybe after the draft, this could be situated. But he pretty much what we heard after this narrative is the next day, Kimberly Martin and Robert Griffin III come on ESPN after Stephen A. Smith reported that he was feeling disrespected by the Ravens, which I'll get into in a second, to paint the picture that he does not want a fully guaranteed contract. So Lamar Jackson has somebody who is believed to be not his mom, but a trusted family friend, someone that she clearly trusts, and someone who is contacting teams. And of course, they're not answering calls. He's probably getting to the secretary and they say, "Oh, what's your name? Who are you?" "Okay, we'll get back to you." And they don't get back to him because they're not certified or represented by the NFLPA. So Lamar, last time I checked, Lamar is getting into other endeavors, correct? Let me know in the comments. Restaurants, outside endeavors in the food industry. I'm sure he has people that he defers to that negotiate on his behalf, that handle things he does not handle. What is so hard for him to hire somebody for as low as 1%? That person is going to work for you for the minimal because they're going to get Lamar Jackson his money. And the Ravens have to feel like they're winning right now because think about it. 32 million compared to 45, that 12 to 13 million they would have had to add in cap space would have mean more guys would be leaving the Baltimore Ravens than the Baltimore Ravens will be able to do even less to add to this roster. But Lamar Jackson, his mom, and his crew, they can't be having someone out here who is not certified represent them. It's bad for business, it's bad for you, and it hurts you in the long run. Are the Baltimore Ravens disrespecting him? Stephen A. Smith made a report. Then the next day, Kimberly Martin and Robert Griffin III came out on Get Up and kind of switched it and said, well, Lamar is happy and Baltimore doesn't feel disrespected. The Ravens and Lamar have done a lot for each other. It's a mutual beneficial relationship, and I agree on that. And I do think that when you look at it, the Ravens want Lamar Jackson as their quarterback because there are two types of teams. Either you have one or you don't. And if you have one, you have a shot. And the Ravens have one and they have a shot. They don't have one, they don't have a shot. And there's no backup right now because Lamar is it for the Ravens. It's not going to be Huntley. It's not going to be Stetson Bennett drafted. It's not going to be a guy in the draft. They won't get that high. No free agents are left. They don't have the money anyway if it was one. Now, with that being said, I do think Lamar should feel disrespected by the entire NFL because nobody's calling his phone or trying to beat down his door to make him their next franchise quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson is worth way more than just 2 first-round picks. Was I a little upset that the Ravens did the non-exclusive tag? But I get it now. They're gambling. They're betting on themselves. They're going to pretty much match, most likely, any offer. And they're proving that. And Lamar is technically still getting his money. 20-plus million last year, 30-plus million this year when he signs, which I think will happen in July because I think he plays under that 1-year tag. I don't think the Ravens disrespect him. If anything, he's disrespecting the Ravens because he's not negotiating. He's just demanding. Reports of him going to meetings and being happy and upbeat about what was said and then coming back the next day. Oh, no, it's not fully guaranteed. We can't do it. So whoever is advising him is not advising him the right way. And that starts with his mom and his crew. We want the man to get paid. If I had it my way, I would give Lamar $200 million guaranteed. But if he did turn down the 133 guaranteed, where he could have got another contract before the age of 30 and capitalize on the money going up with the cap and the sports betting and the TV deals, I don't know. Like I said, he needs to get a better representation because he doesn't even have any endorsements off the field. This guy should be in commercials like a Baker Mayfield, like a Dak Prescott. But we did hear about Lamar having his interview on his YouTube channel, which I think is a terrible idea. The players don't need to speak because this is Lamar, the agent. He's not going to answer if he's healthy or not. He's not going to answer if he's working with Todd Monken or talk to him. Will he be reporting on time? What is he doing to train and get ready for the season to be better, considering he's being Agent Lamar right now? It might not come out. I wouldn't be surprised if this interview doesn't come out. I don't know when it's going to drop. Could it drop next week? Could it drop today? Could it drop tomorrow? Could it drop in April before the draft? Who knows? But they got to fix the audio first and foremost because it was terrible. That audio, Lamar, gets a boo from us because all I you can get a better audio output. But if this does come out, I think it will kind of make things worse. Silencing is golden. When things get into the media, it never gets better, never gets pretty. But time is on the Ravens side and patience is on the Ravens side because guys are set to get paid, as I've talked about before. Burrow, Herbert, Hurts, and they won't be fully guaranteed. And I think Lamar will have to really sit back and mend some fences here in Baltimore if he's coming back, even if it's just for 1 year with guys in the locker room, to let them know, hey, I'm your guy. I'm not going to quit on you. I'm going to give you everything I have. I'm not going to let this contract get in the way of us being a competitive Super Bowl caliber football team. And last but not least, the Baltimore Ravens have signed no free agents so far. The Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars, only 2 teams out of 32 in the NFL does not sign anybody. Jacksonville doesn't need to. They have very good young talent. They have drafted well. They have their quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. And, oh, yeah, let's not forget they did trade for Calvin Ridley last year at the trade deadline, something I was a proponent of the Ravens doing, I believe, for a third-round pick. Yes, he was suspended last year, but Calvin Ridley automatically inserts himself as a number 1 receiver with Jacksonville. Mark my words, I think he's going to have a solid season for them down there. They don't really need to add anybody. Could they bring back Calais Campbell, who did leave the Ravens? Be a great ideal fit somewhere he first started. Now, Nelson Aguilar was bought in. This is how I feel about that. I'm good on that. We might as well bring back DeMarcus Robinson if we're going to do that. I don't want either one of them back. Duvernay looks like he's going to be here. A lot of mocks are having the Ravens take a receiver. I do think the Ravens should possibly look at exploring that 2023 first round pick 22 for Jerry Jeudy possibly. Cortland Sutton, one of the Denver guys. If they are asking for too much, there are some good corners in this draft. But I think the Ravens' best bet potentially, because everything's on hold because of Lamar. Everything's on hold because of Lamar. They're not going to make any moves. And plus, the Ravens fans have got to be patient. They don't make moves in the first wave of free agency. They don't really make moves in the second wave of free agency. They wait till maybe that third, fourth wave after the draft, before training camp, and really probably make moves to bolster their roster on the coupon deals, as we call them. But let me know what you think the Ravens need to do in free agency. DJ Chark is out there. We saw Elijah Moore get traded. McCole Hardman signed. Brandon Cooks. DeAndre Hopkins could be an option, even though he is a little long in the tooth for me. He would definitely be an upgrade, but you're going to probably have to give up at least. They say something similar to a Brandon Cooks, but Hopkins is better and more reliable in my opinion. So I would say probably at least a second or third for Hopkins to start if I'm the Cardinals listening to it. So I don't think they'll get rid of him that easy. But the Ravens do need to address the wide receiver position. They said they're going to redo the room. If anything, the room got worse, if that was ever possible. And they need defensive backs. They need a corner. They need a defensive lineman with flues and clears. I'm hoping and praying, crossing my fingers, that maybe he can come back before the start of the season and be a Baltimore Raven, because he was the best defensive lineman. He's a good leader in the locker room. He's good off the field. And he still had a hell of a year last year, and he has 99 sacks. The guy's going to want to come back and get that milestone. Hopefully, it's in the purple and black with the Baltimore Ravens. But, guys, I'm getting ready to get out of here. Let me know your thoughts. Excuse me. Oh, we're almost at the weekend, people. Sound off in the comments. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell. What do you think about Lamar using a non-certified representative? Are the Ravens disrespecting him? Will you be watching the Lamar interview on his YouTube, Lamar Jackson Entertainment? And will you be upset if the Ravens don't sign anybody? Because everything's on hold because of Lamar. And plus, the Ravens don't make many signings until the off season gets into that third, fourth quarter. Yeah, they made a few splashes here in the past couple of years getting Marcus Williams, but more times than not, they're waiting to that third, fourth wave, and a lot of times after the draft to really make their move and fill out their roster. God's favorite host signing off. Hit that subscribe button, sack it. Hit that like button, go ahead and hit stick it. And bulldoze that bell. Sound off in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on the Ravens. Week that was. Not much besides Lamar and the contract ceremony with the Baltimore Ravens. Signing off, y'all. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Peace.